We are here at El Monstruo, a recently opened Colombian restaurant. I'm here with the owner, Junior Rojas. Thank you so much for having us today.
I want to appreciate you guys for being here.
I'm excited to try out the food and also get to learn more about you.
So I arrived at Louisville about 4 years ago now. When we arrived to Louisville, it was hard. Pandemic was still going on. Everything was closed. But little by little, we started loving the city. Fell in love with the city. It's a growing city. It's growing. I've been around several other cities.
Yeah.
Greenville, North Carolina, New York, Washington D.C., Maryland, Virginia, and Louisville has been the most, I could say, home we have felt. We're here 4 years and we have no plans on moving. It was always a dream of mine of opening my first restaurant. So when the opportunity pursued itself, where we have weekends, we decided, okay, what we should do? We should invest something. Louisville is a growing city. What can we bring to the table? We had to drive about 2 hours and a half just to eat a Colombian meal.
Right.
So we're like, you know what? Let's try making some food. Because my parents had their own Colombian restaurant for some time, and I know how to work with restaurants. So I tried. It started as an experiment for my wife. She wanted for me to make a dish for her, and I made it at home. And that same weekend, I've always been impulsive, and I was like, you know what? Let's start trying to sell. So we started from home.
Yeah, and that's a very beautiful story of what really Louisville is all about, right? Because I don't know if you know this, but we were the second city in the United States to become certified as a welcoming city. Wow. And so when you say that, all these places that you visited, in North Carolina, in DC, and in Florida, and you say that Louisville makes you feel at home, that's really a testament to the community, the environment that we are in as a welcoming city. So and I would love to learn more about you, individually. You talked about your parents, that they used to own a restaurant as well. You talked about your different travels and your work that you had done. So could you talk more about your Colombian background, your parents, and any of the things that have helped you to grow up with both identities, Colombian and American, in the various cities that you've lived in?
So I was born in New York, raised in Miami. When I was growing up, first language at home was Spanish, so I was able to learn Spanish first. At a young age, my parents made the decision to send me, which was one of the best decisions. I was pretty much a problem child. Growing up, I was a really bad child when I was growing up. They sent me to Colombia when I was 9. I was there until I was 14. So I lived with my grandfather. My grandfather was an immigrant as well. He lived in New York. He was a cook, then became a chef. He was really into the cooking, and he taught me several things. He made me fall in love with cooking food in Colombia, because over here, to be honest, you don't see that many different dishes. So being able to experiment, him showing me how everything is done over there at a young age, really got me into the cooking. It really got me into being able to make my own dishes and everything else. I could say he's the one that pushed for it. My parents, background of my parents I'm from Colombian descent. They're from Antioquia. So they arrived here when they were 15. So they really lived most of their life here. But I always had the dream to own my own. And that's where this dream came from. My wife has been very supportive of all my crazy ideas, because they're crazy. You know what I'm saying? We went from working 40 hours and having money to go around, spending and going out, to almost a year just invested into the restaurant. We haven't even visited anywhere. We've just been investing here, and she's been very dedicated to it. But that's the main focus. I worked for this before. I've always wanted to own my own restaurant. And my grandfather was very influential into my growing up with the food culture.
Yeah, and thank you for taking that leap, right, and being courageous to invest here, because you're not just investing in yourself, you're investing into our community, Colombian community, but also bringing Colombian food to Louisville, right? And we talk about food really being that one thing that brings us together, right? So tell us more about the food that you offer here. What is the staple of Colombian food? What if somebody is having Colombian food for the first time? What is the thing that you would tell them to look for?
Okay, so All depends on what you do. So the first thing I ask clients when they get here is what they're in the mood for. You know, so are you into the mood to try something new, into the mood to have something before? And you know, basically you ask them, have you ever had Colombian food? So someone that has never had Colombian food, you have to try them off. You have to start them off slowly, see where their taste buds go. So I ask them, have you ever tried this type of bread? You know, I tell them a combination of the bread. But the main dish, the way you'll come fully prepared and you'll have the full experience is called bandeja paisa. It's a very traditional plate from where we're from. There's obviously there's already a different place from Colombia, but that's the main one. The main focus of where I originate from. Yeah. So it comes with a complete meal. It comes with rice, beans, eggs. It comes with chorizo. It comes with steak. It could be the steak, or you could switch it around, and it comes with plantains. And it's a complete meal. It's a big complete meal. But you know, some people are not really into that. So our variety of burgers are really different. We create our own. So all of our meats are seasoned. We season it personally. So there's a combination. You know, you can try the traditional burger, which is just going to be beef, or we have in Colombia there's pork and beef, mixture of pork and beef into our patties, and that with the seasoning gives you a different taste. Right. And then you combine them with all the sauces we have, with the cilantro sauce, the garlic sauce, the pink sauce, the pineapple sauce, all these different flavors, and it just makes your mouth go crazy. Yeah.
So does the name come from the sizes of your burgers?
Okay. Monstruo. So actually no. So I'm still waiting for my wife to tell me, because I offered my wife, like, you know what, come up with a name. Let me know what name do you want to put on it. I'm still waiting for her to give me the name. You know, it's been a year already. But El Monstruo is, so you know how in America, you know, you say, hey bud, dude, you know, you have a conversation, how you start a conversation. Yeah. Well, El Monstruo is a way of saying like, hello, like, hey dude, or stuff like that. So since that is a very cultural thing, I continue saying to people, hey Monstruo, let's go over here. So they started calling me El Monstruo. Okay. Yeah, so based on the word I said, people start, so I was like, you know what? They call me already that, we call it El Monstruo. So the word that originates from saying like, hey dude, or hey bud, it means like monster. So when we decided to go with the name, we're like, all right, we can't come up with a name and make our dishes small. We have to go all out. You know, when they come in, we're like, all right, it's a lot, because then you'll have the controversy of saying, why do they call it monster? The plates are normal or small. So we make sure our burgers are big, make sure our food is a lot, make sure that, you know, you go satisfied like, I went to the Monstruo.
Well, also the other thing that I'm hearing you say is that for the Colombians that visit, then that's a conversation starter, right? So that's a great idea. Well, I cannot wait to taste the food. I've never had Colombian food, so I'm excited. I hear that we have some food that we'll be cooking. All right, let's do that.
So originally the dish was made, you know, back in the day. It was to satisfy workers, you know, farm workers, mine workers. They'll leave home very early in the morning and arrive very late at night. So they needed a plate where they have all the nutrition they needed. So in this dish, you're gonna find egg, you're gonna find bean, you're gonna find rice, plantain, you're gonna find steak, you're gonna find chorizo. Then you're gonna find as well pork belly. Yeah. It has to be a complete plate where you have breakfast, lunch, and dinner in one plate, and that's where the name originated from. And it was a meal that, you know, wives would make and family would make for the working men or women, and it was a plate that could last them a whole day.
Walk me through the process.
So right now they're working on the steak, on the chorizo as well, and the pork belly. Okay. So when those get done, they also have the beans and the rice that's pre-made. We make it daily to make sure it's a fresh batch. Right. And that's served last to make sure the dish, when everything else is done, it is warm. Yeah. So we keep it in a hot box. We keep the beans and the rice on hot boxes, and then we work on everything else. Okay. So right now, we're working on the steak, the chorizo, and the pork belly. Okay. And everything else maintained fresh. We pick as well our avocados daily to make sure that they are proper to serve. Amazing.
I love avocado, so you know, this is great. So what are some of the spices that they're also using?
So for the spices I have out for you are spices we use for the beans and some of the steaks. Yeah. You have garlic. You have a little bit of everything on both these. You have plantains, and you also have cilantro. Cilantro is a big hit. Yes. You know? It's just to give you a little variety of what it has.
Yes.
I'm not gonna, I don't in the details what spices our meat has or how our beans are done, but
Right.
to show you a little bit of what
Is in there.
takes it.
Okay.
The preparation of the beans take about 2 or 3 hours a day
Yeah.
with the rice and everything, but to make sure that we guarantee the satisfaction of it tasting
The
amazing
taste of it,
and
yes.
different.
Yes.
You won't find another beans like it.
That tastes
in
like this.
Louisville.
Okay. Can't wait to try that either. So the other thing you said that the beans take about 20-30 minutes. So what the dish itself, to get the whole thing done.
We try to make sure we're working on making sure that everything's out in 20 minutes.
Okay.
20 to 25 minutes, everything should be out, everything should be served, everything
Right.
should be ready for the guests. The food can taste amazing.
Yeah.
It could be the most amazing meal you ever have, but we eat with eyes. So the presentation of the plate
presentation
has
is
to be has to coordinate with how it tastes.
Yes.
For you to be, oh my God, I'm gonna have this every time I can.
Yeah.
So we try to work on our presentation as well, making sure
Good,
it
good.
goes with the taste of the food.
Yes. That's very important, you know. You see now, you know, if you see that your plate come through, you start eating as soon as it comes. So that presentation is important. All right. So you were saying that anybody can see the ingredients, but there's a specific way.
Yeah,
that
so-
you have to make it.
So traditionally in Latin America, beans are known to all of us. You can make beans in different type of ways, but to make it Colombian, you have to know the structure of it, how it's prepared, how it's done.
Yeah.
So beans is the most thing you can get wrong when you're making one of these plates, as well as the seasoning for the meat. Everything looks simple, and it's a simple plate when
Right.
you really look at it, but it's just having the right spices, the right ingredients for it. There's no gray area on a bandeja paisa. Either you can make it right or you can make it wrong. And they'll immediately let you know. The Colombians will let you know
They will
immediately.
know you didn't do it
and
right.
well-known people have tried the bandeja paisa will let you know it tastes different.
Okay.
And it's as well, and it's a culture thing, as well as whatever part of Antioquia you go to, the beans will taste different as well.
Wow.
And you'll know you're having beans from there because the climate changes, so the production of the beans are different, and how they harvest are different. So that different flavor, you'll feel it even in Colombia.
Yeah.
I also brought you 2 of our traditional drinks. I personally would be, besides drinking these 2 most common Colombian drinks, which is Colombiana, that's or has our national flag, and you have manzana, which is an apple jazz, which comes pink, which is just very, very curious.
Yeah.
We also make, and we make it here as well, natural drinks. We have blackberry, we have lulu, which I still haven't found a translation to it, guanabana, and passion fruit. So I actually I love it with blackberry and milk.
Oh, really?
That
And
for me,
milk?
yeah.
Wow.
Blackberry milk is amazing.
Okay.
But these are most common drinks they'll have this plate with.
Okay.
How does everything taste?
This is amazing. This is great. Yeah. The plantains are always sweet, so and it's different depending on how it's made. So this is really good.
Yeah. It takes this place takes a while because we do have to look for the right plantains. We have to hand pick them.
So do you do the plantains green or right?
They have to be very, very, very sweet. So green will be very hard, it wouldn't be a plantain. It would be a plantain,
Right.
but it's a sweet plantain. So I have to make sure it's around the spot. We're very yellow, almost blackish, and that's how you start picking them. You get the feel of it. They have to be very soft, and then that's when we start buying. We buy them almost daily.
And you buy them here in Louisville.
Louisville, of course.
Okay. The beans are amazing. Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. So you have cilantro, you have the pork belly, you have the beans. Are there any other spices you add?
You have in that same spice you have. You don't feel it, but you have tomato, you have onion, you have red pepper, you have as well garlic and other spices that make that flavor.
Yeah.
Which you don't feel it, but they're there.
They're there. Wow.
And that's the thing with Colombian, in where we're from, you don't see the vegetables in the beans.
In the beans, yeah. All right, so this all looks amazing and it tastes amazing. So where are you located and how can people find you?
So we're a little bit hidden And we're located on 3028 Barstown Road, Louisville, Kentucky, 40205. We're a little hidden. We're in a plaza. And always here, always welcoming. We have good music, good programming. We show all the soccer games, which is new as well in Louisville. You don't have an actual place you can go to watch national teams, to watch every Copa we put it here, and as well any soccer game that's available. Wow. So come visit us.
So thank you for joining us. Again, you heard it from Junior to come visit El Monstruo here on Barstown Road. The food tastes amazing. It looks amazing. Thank you so much for having us.
Thank you for coming.